talk about some ovarian diseases, some high-yield topic. Okay, so let's start with primary ovarian insufficiency. Okay, now all those 4 diseases, these are very important. It connects some other organ system too. Now, when we call primary ovarian insufficiency, it also has a name, premature ovarian failure. Okay, so yesterday we studied the normal physiology of the ovary, right? So what did we say yesterday? Ovary produces estrogen. That estrogen is important for external female genitalia and stuff, right? So that's one function. Next, ovary releases your follicles, okay? Your follicles are released by ovary, estrogen, these two. Normally, the ovary fails after 55 when the person becomes menopause. Is everybody clear, folks? That's what we call menopause, when the ovary fails, okay? So anytime after 55. So for whatever reason, if ovary fails before 40, okay, whatever reason, if ovary fails before 40, that means way too early, we call that premature ovarian failure. Okay, so that's basically, it's a menopause happening way too early. Because it's happening way too early, we have a different name for that disease. That's simple. Now, we could see premature atresia of the ovarian follicles of females of reproductive age, most often idiopathic. We don't know what it is, associated with some chromosomal abnormalities possibly. Okay, the only thing we can do is to do a karyotype screening to find out if there is any. The best way to remember, patient presents with sign of menopause after puberty, but before the age of 40. Does that make sense, folks? So the best thing I tell the students, if you are reading a question, if that question sounds like menopause, but the person is young, then you go for premature ovarian failure. Okay, keep it simple like that. Now, when the ovary fails, no estrogen. When there is no estrogen, there's going to be negative feedback that increases LH and FSH. Are we clear, folks? So that's premature ovarian failure. Okay. Next one, most common causes of anovulation. Okay, so what are the time that ovulations don't happen, folks? Okay, now for this, we kind of have to go back to menstrual cycle. Okay, now I'm just going to go back here to recap. Now, when it comes to menstrual cycle, there's a follicular phase and a luteal phase, folks. Okay, there are 2 phases. And another name for follicular phase is called proliferative phase. It's right there. It's called proliferative phase. And then the last one is called secretory phase, folks. Okay. Now let's take a look at this. If a person has a, let's say, 28-day cycle, that's a perfect cycle, 28-day cycle. Okay. If they have a 28-day cycle, that 28-day cycle is divided into 2. 14 days for proliferative phase and 14 days for secretory phase. Is everybody clear, folks? So that's the idea here, folks. Okay. Now, this is the first day. This is the 28th day, right? And this is where actually the bleeding starts. And it's a cycle, right? It eventually come here, 3 days of bleeding, and then you start the new cycle again. Is everybody clear, folks? Menstrual cycle is like a cycle. Okay, so that's the idea. Now, so technically the 28th day is the first day of bleeding. Is everybody clear, folks? All right. Now, what you need to remember, what is exactly happening in the middle of 14 days, right? So the menstrual cycle is happening in the uterus. So this is happening in the uterus. While menstrual cycle happening in the uterus, in ovary, exactly on the 14 days here, there's another process happening, what we call ovulation. Is that clear, folks? So the ovulation, oops, one